I am single at 31, and that is.
Here's why I will never again go on another coffee date.
Do you ever just have like these moments in your life where you just look at your...
Hi, I would like to apply to no longer.
I am single at 31, and that is definitely not something I ever thought I would be saying. When I was younger, that I would be married with kids, I'd have my house at 31, and instead, my partner of 4 years and I have decided to go separate ways. I have moved back to Sydney in with my parents, semi-treated like a 14-year-old, like they forgot that well, at least my mum has forgotten that I know how to live. And honestly, it feels embarrassing. You know, the first thing I think of is being 31 and so many of my friends are in happy relationships with kids, they're engaged, they're married, and I'm like, cool. Obviously so happy for them, but then I look at myself and I'm like, wow, I'm just not where I thought I would be. And it's certainly a hard pill to swallow, like a really, really hard pill to swallow, especially moving into my parents' house, you know. Like my room is the same as it was when I was like 18 years old. I want to find my own place, but Sydney rentals are ridiculous at the moment. And I'm like, I can't afford to spend $600 to $900 a week on rent. Plus, I also think I want to go traveling and live between like Sydney, Melbourne, LA, and London. Waiting for the part where I get excited about life and my next chapter, because that one closed and decision we made, but like, you know, I think it's the right one, and that's the thing, you never know if it is the right decision or not. I just want people to know they're not alone. You know, if you're 31 and recently single, if you're in your 30s recently single, if you're like in your 20s and recently single, like, I'm right there with you. I feel you. And you know what? Let's share this journey together, because I need an outlet. Otherwise, I will probably just go insane. So, single and 31. Here we go.
Brothers, the wall shows no mercy. In one of his famous videos, Kevin Samuels told a woman who had left her long-term partner because she thought she deserved something better. He responded clearly, "You walked away from your potential husband, the man who was ready to marry you, the one who could give you a family. Both of you were average people, but you chose to leave." After 4 years in that relationship, at 31, she's starting over like a teenager. I won't say exactly why it ended, but chances are it was her decision. And now, it looks like she's in for a long time facing the wall. But take a look at the next woman who refuses to go on coffee dates.
Here's why I will never again go on another coffee date. Someone recently asked me out on a coffee date, and I thought about it, and my immediate response that popped into my head was no. And here's why. As a girl, to get ready, it's very, very expensive to actually get ready and look presentable for a date. If you take into consideration the hair products, the makeup products, the skincare products, the outfit, if you're Ubering, if you're driving, the gas to get there. So you're spending all this money on yourself to walk out the door to show up to a date that's literally worth at maximum $15 to $20. My full face of makeup, because I go to Sephora, quite literally costs more than it is for this person, whoever it would be, to take me on a date. And also what that says to me is that this person does not want to put actual effort into taking me out on a real date. And I'm not saying that this needs to be an extravagant dinner or an extravagant date. I'm not saying it has to be super expensive. But what I do expect is effort and a plan in place. And if I don't even have that, then I'm not going. And if I really want Starbucks, I'll just Uber Eats it to my house.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Now the man not only has to pay just to see her, he also has to cover whatever she consumes. A coffee date has several advantages. It's inexpensive, you can manage your time if things don't go well, and you can leave without a problem if there's no chemistry. Plus, the whole point of a date is to talk and get to know the person, not to fund her lifestyle. But no, these women want to be taken to 5-star restaurants they'd never go to with their own money. They show up just to take pictures for Instagram, where everything appears except you, trying to sell their image and take advantage of a simp they're not even interested in, leaving him stuck with the bill. Brothers, don't be anyone's free meal. If she doesn't want a coffee, she's not interested in you. Let her hit the wall head on, like the next girl in the upcoming video.
Women.
Do you ever just have like these moments in your life where you just look at yourself and you're like, what am I doing? Like, I'm literally nearly 32 and I'm currently living back at home at my parents' house. I'm in my childhood bedroom. I met like a friend today, and I've met a few friends since I've been back in my hometown who have all had babies, and like they're not even babies anymore, they're like toddlers, and they have like these lives. And I'm just like, what happened? Like, I moved abroad and it was amazing, and definitely took a career gap and stuff, and I'm just on such a different path that I ever thought I would be on. It's not necessarily a bad thing, because I definitely think I'll look back one day and be like, thank God I travelled, but like, as if I'm lying in my childhood bed right now at 31, single, in my parents' house. Like, what?
You know what's ironic about all this? If it were a man in her position, society would see him as a loser. A 31-year-old man, not working, still living at his parents' house, playing video games, they'd tear him apart. But this woman is doing exactly the same thing. They keep repeating that a single woman is free and fulfilled, but reality hits differently when the wall shows up. And the clearest thing here is that there's no plan, no direction, and in the end, they always expect someone else, usually a man, to come fix what they never built for themselves. The feminist narrative doesn't prepare anyone for this, and time waits for no one, just like the wall, because the wall shows no mercy.
Hi, I would like to apply to no longer be a strong, independent woman. Yeah, I quit. I don't get a trophy. I don't get to collect go and pass $200. And honestly, it sucks. Yeah, let's see what we can do about that. Look, I have been on my own for a while now. So I believe that I have passed the test. I appreciate myself. I love myself. I respect myself. I understand what it takes to have, this balanced life. But I really just am so over being a strong, independent woman. I actually kind of hate it now. I hate it. Well, if you opt out of being a strong, independent woman, you're going to stop attracting people who want low commitment, emotional intimacy from you. I don't know. Being a strong, independent woman is a good thing. You don't want to be some trad wife or something, do you? Look, that's an extreme on the opposite side of the spectrum. There's got to be some kind of balance here, right? It's like life is better when there's that, is it called interdependence or something? Independence, where you recognize that you are the creme brulee and you're good on your own, but creme brulee also tastes really great with strawberries too. But creme brulee is still good on its own and strawberries are still good on its own. But, you also realize that, hey, this would actually be so great to share these experiences with, because at some point it's like, what's the point, right? Yeah, no one cares. Anyways, thanks for the sob story. We're going to send you some more people who are probably not emotionally ready for a relationship, but they're going to look to you to be that guiding light. Isn't that great? Great.
The feminist narrative promises them freedom, but it doesn't like accountability. They keep repeating that men oppress, when in reality, thousands of them survive thanks to the structure a man provides. A woman earning minimum wage can barely cover rent and keep the fridge stocked. When a man shows up with a home and stability, her life changes overnight. That's not oppression, that's a lifeline. The problem is, they never acknowledge it. They talk about unpaid labor, as if building a family weren't a shared investment, all while enjoying every benefit a man pays for through years of sacrifice. Before him, life meant a miserable paycheck, debt, and the constant fear of ending up back at their parents' house. After him, a stable roof over their head, security, and options. What bothers them isn't the reality. It's that the feminist narrative hides it. Because accepting the truth would mean admitting that without a man's structure, many would sink. Just look at the pattern. Every time a woman gets the house after a divorce, 3 to 5 years later, she loses it. Coincidence? I don't think so.
So I'm 30 and single, and the number one question I get asked is, why are you still single? And I've been trying to figure out the reason, like I'm trying to put it into words as to why I'm so picky, I guess, quote unquote picky. And it's like, it's not that I haven't been on dates or it's not that I haven't had boyfriends before, but it's more so that I just haven't been wowed. You know, I don't know. It's not the whole like, oh, you shouldn't feel butterflies in your stomach. You shouldn't feel infatuated. Like, I know, I know, I know. But I don't know if anyone feels this way where you go on dates and you're not like, wow, that was amazing. I don't know. Am I wrong?
The problem isn't the butterflies in your stomach. The problem is the unrealistic expectation. They want a movie-like romance on the very first date, but real life doesn't work that way. True connections are built, not improvised over a 2-hour dinner. Yes, the man leads and the woman chooses, but if she's stuck chasing the fantasy of an instant spark, she ends up sabotaging any real possibility. As long as she keeps waiting for everything to happen magically, she'll keep piling up years and failed dates. Because real connection doesn't come from chasing feelings. It comes from investing time in a man.
I'm 30, flirty, and thriving, and I've never had a boyfriend. It's been super okay with it. Like, of course, I'm looking for someone, and I'm like taking it a little more serious now, being more intentional. I've always felt like this sense of calm. I will find my person. Like, my life has always worked out in my favor. Like, why would this not work out in my favor? Super aware that our life can change in any instant. I'm putting myself out there. I'm putting the energy out there. I'm working on my eye contact. I'm going to places. My point is that I'm fully aware that like I could like be like, super single tonight, and tomorrow I could be at the grocery store and I run into someone and my life changes forever and I fall in love. I don't really panic about like finding my person. I think I'm starting to panic about like when. It really hit me because I have a friend group that we're 4 best friends since like our childhood. I'm the last single one. Like literally like we're all in different eras of our life. The thing that makes me a little like, oh, hurry up and find a man and be a little more intentional and a little more out there is the fact that this friend group, she is the last one that's having her wedding and the next one would be me. I want my significant other to be at these events, like that person to be able to meet my friends, that scenario, like watch them get married, because I've seen their significant others go to the weddings of group and how much you learn from the person. And I think it's just something super special when you're able to go to your friends' weddings and you take your significant other. It really like opens up like, this is my world. So weddings for me are like the one place where I get to see my friends and family because I live in LA, far away from home. Even if I meet my significant other in LA, like they never be exposed to my friends and family from back home unless it's like at a wedding or like they intentionally go back to my hometown. I'm manifesting finding my man's before this next wedding of this friend group because I would really want the person to go. Of course, I make plans, God laughs, yo hago planes y Dios se ríe.
The panic isn't about being single. It's about what comes after. Being the last one in the group, the extra at dinner, the one everyone looks at with pity. Friends start living married lives. Plans revolve around couples and kids. And that's when the single woman becomes the third wheel. That kind of loneliness doesn't hit in your 20s, but in your 30s, it hits hard. And the cruelest part? It's not men who isolate her. It's her own friends. Among women, there's no mercy. The attractive single woman becomes a threat, and little by little, they push her out. A woman's worst enemy is often another woman. If she wants to stop playing games and start looking for a man, I hope she moves, because she's at the wall, and the wall shows no mercy.
Here's my truth. My name is Chris, and I was addicted to having affairs. In my first marriage, I spent years having relationships outside of my marriage, whether it was physical or emotional. And I was in a very dark place. I was delusional. I ended up blowing up my family. I lost my marriage. And now I only get to have my children every other week. But I want to tell everybody that you can change. You can find redemption within your marriage. Because of Jesus, I found truth. I found reality. And I'm here to help save other marriages. My goal is to help women see that they do not have to be stuck and they don't have to live the lie. And I'm a walking testament that being that I was addicted to having affairs, addicted to the attention of other men while I was married, I'm somebody that can tell you, you can heal, you can change, and you can find the truth in who you are and have a good marriage. So if you're walking in infidelity, if you're going outside of your marriage to have a relationship with another man, please reach out to me. I would love to talk with you, and I would love to help you and walk through this with you.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
You really have to hear some of this stuff. She was a serial cheater, and now it turns out she's a cheating coach? You can't make this crap up. We always hear women accusing men of being unfaithful, but when the truth comes out, we find out many of them are even worse. The difference is they're better at manipulating. They hide it, sugarcoat it, make sure you don't notice. And if you catch them, they always have the same excuse. It was your fault because you neglected me. At least her ex-husband played his cards right. He got divorced, protected his assets, and got custody of the kids. Left her reduced to a weekend mom. Good for him. Because a woman like that doesn't change with words. She changes when life finally hits her where it hurts.
I don't want to say love is a lie, but the whole idea of love has been weaponized against women in order to get us to provide labor for free or without any kind of recognition or acknowledgement. Like if someone's a chef and they cook food for people, that's a job. And they're compensated for it and they're appreciated for it. If someone is a nanny and they take care of children, that's a job and they're compensated for and appreciated for it. If someone is a SW or even a mistress, they're usually compensated and appreciated for it. But when you become a wife, when you become a mother, you are not compensated or appreciated for any of these things. I don't have a good relationship with my mother. And the older I've gotten, the more I'm like, oh, okay. Even though I don't think she was a very good mother, it makes a lot of sense why she wasn't a good mother. Because what a thankless, shitty job for 98% of women who occupy it. And we're supposed to do it all with a smile on our face because love. Because you love your children. That's why you take care of them. Because you love your husband. That's why you married him. That's why you feed him. That's why you pick up after him. That's why you forgive him. That's why you're romantic with him, even if you don't feel like being romantic with him. Because he has needs and you love him and it's your job to fulfill them. It's your job to bend over backwards for your husband and your children because you love them and that's your reward. If you date men, it's supposed to be because you're trying to find love. Any other reason would be shallow, and you're a shallow, vapid bitch if you have any other intention or reason to want to date a man. Men, on the other hand, well, they have to ease into love. They're not so prone to love. They're visual creatures. They want someone who's super young. They want someone who's super hot. You know, love isn't so much their thing. Sure, they love their children, but not like a mother could love their children. Sure, they love their wives, but not like a woman loves a man. You see how love implicates women and lets men off the hook? Now, again, I'm not saying love doesn't exist, but kind of like religion, it started off being a quintessential part of being a human being and a very real thing, and it was hijacked and weaponized against the people that it was made to oppress.
Out of her whole speech, the only thing worth noting is that she doesn't have a good relationship with her mother. And that explains everything. She grew up without that figure, without understanding the real value of family. And now she's just repeating an empty narrative. She claims that housework is slave labor, but conveniently leaves out everything a man does: maintaining the yard, fixing roofs, plumbing, heating, air conditioning, solving any problem around the house, taking care of the car, and paying for every repair. That's why so many women who buy homes on their own end up regretting it. Because when things start breaking down, and trust me, they do, they realize how expensive and exhausting it is to handle everything alone. And that's just the basics. A man also has to provide for the family, manage finances, save, invest, build wealth, and look out for the kid's future. So reducing all his contribution to she cooks is pure disrespect. What's ironic is that many men, on top of providing and handling all of that, also help around the house. But no one talks about that because it doesn't fit the narrative.
Marriage is a trap. Do not do it. Nobody wants to be doing this every single day. It is a trap. You know what the real trap is? We traded loyalty for options, respect for attention. Commitment for convenience. Now women are walking all over the place saying, we don't need a man. And the man has stopped becoming the man that we dreamed of. But it's actually scary what we're seeing nowadays. We say we want safety, but we reject structure. We want love, but we treat submission as if it was slavery. The truth is, marriage isn't a trap. Loneliness and bitterness is. One day you'll wake up alone and you will realize being alone, doing life alone, that's the real trap.
Here's the irony. Today, many women call slavery or submission what used to simply be part of love in a relationship. Cooking for your man, taking care of him, looking after him. Now they see it as something negative. My experience has been different. All my exes and my current partner enjoy cooking, not because anyone forces them, but because it comes from the heart. They'd rather make a good meal at home than go out to a restaurant. And that's not slavery, that's love. A lot of married men know it. Their wives do it because they want to take care of the man who takes care of them. Feminism sold them the idea that every act of service is oppression. But what they don't say is that mindset ends up devaluing women's own role. And the saddest part is that message almost always comes from those who are alone, bitter, and already hit the wall.
I got married 6 months ago, and you want to know what is pissing me the fuck off is how often now I am genuinely treated as secondary to my husband. And I'm tired of acting like it's not a big deal and it doesn't matter and it doesn't affect you. It's literally with everything. We go get a mortgage. He's listed as the primary mortgage holder. I'm listed as the secondary. We get our taxes done. I just got the forms back. This is why I'm crashing out. He's listed as taxpayer. I'm listed as spouse. Even though I'm the one that reached out to the CPA, set up the appointment, has been giving him the documents, has been the one corresponding with him. He's barely talked to my husband. My husband still gets the taxpayer designation and I get the spouse designation. And the shit matters. The shit matters for how it makes you feel and how we see women and how we treat women. And can you imagine if we made men live this way? Like literally, can you imagine how they would react if they opened their mailbox every day and got letters that said, hello, Mr. Wife's first name, wife's last name? Don't even get me started with the name stuff. I didn't change my last name. There are people in my personal life and just like random strangers that I interact with that refuse to acknowledge that still insist on calling me Allie, husband's last name, or Allie, my last name, husband's last name. They just straight up refuse. And I'm gonna start being mean about it. Like, cause why not? Like or not even being mean about it, just being like, why am I the secondary person? You've only been talking to me. Because it's everyone. It's contractors. If I'm the one who reaches out to a contractor, I'm the one who sets up time. I'm the one who's been emailing him. He comes into our home to give the estimate with me. We get the estimate back. We get the invoice. It still has my husband's name on the top. Like, it's actually shocking to me how often this keeps happening in the 6 months that I've been married. And it fucks with your psyche. And I'm going to start being mean about it because imagine if we made men live like this. Literally imagine.
Oh, hell no!
Brothers, what you just saw is a doomed marriage. That man can already feel divorce breathing down his neck. Because tell me this, why get married if you still want to live like you're single? But here's the irony. If the husband were to win an award, get a promotion, or receive any kind of recognition, she'd be the first to show up as so-and-so's wife. But when it comes to commitment, responsibility, and unity, she vanishes. Marriage is teamwork. If there's no us, and both people are living like they're single, then there's no point in being together. And I'll say it straight. Living with a woman who thinks like that is hell. And just wait, because in the next video, things get even worse.
I believe there are many reasons why cishet marriages are on the decline. And I'm not going to talk about all of them. But one thing I do think that has become very present to most women and men is that marriage is a safety net for men. And it creates essentially a village around him to prop him up. And for women, it is a risk. Marriage comes with risk. And the reason I say that, and it's not always the case, there's obviously nuance, but when you get married to a man and tie up your finances with him and have children with him, you take on a level of risk. Because typically, women are the ones who leave the workforce to care for children. Women are the ones whose careers take a back seat to their male counterparts. Women are the ones who are left without financial security when they stay at home with their children. Women incur a risk. They also incur a risk to their mental health, their emotional health, right? When you marry a male partner and he expects you to prop him up and to support him, to carry the mental load, to do all the domestic labor, to prioritize his career, to bear children for him, then you are viewed as a tool to his success. And in like historical cishet relationships, it didn't flow both ways. I think there's tons of marriages where it does, and that's, mine is one of them. But it's not common for everybody to have that type of dynamic, to have a partnership that truly does flow both ways, where you both have financial security, where you both have emotional security, where you both have ample opportunity and support to achieve what it is you want to achieve. So there's tons of data around the fact that men who are married live longer and women who are married live shorter lives, and women who are single live longer lives. Women who are single tend to be happier, right? There are these statistics, and men who are single are less happy. And there's also statistics around men following a divorce or the death of a partner getting married very quickly, whereas women will stay single for longer, because marriage, traditional marriage, was built around men and creating success and happiness for them, but it was not centered around women. And so they are less happy in traditional marriages. And so that is why I talk so much about finding equity in a relationship. That is why I advocate for women to always have some sort of social safety nets around them, because marriage does come with risk. And that might sound negative, but I believe in the institution of marriage if it works for you and your partner. I am obviously married, but I do think it comes with a risk. I have taken more hits to my career and to my mental health becoming a parent and a wife than I believe my partner has. And that's not his fault, but I think that is societal. It is, our world is built for and about and in support of men. And marriage is a part of that.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Let's be clear. If everything you're saying were true, which it's not, then why did you get married? Why did you enter something you now call oppression? Simple. Because you did want to be a wife. You did want the benefits, the support, and the security that marriage brings. But now you're selling this narrative to other women so they don't get to have the same comfortable life you had. And watch out for the double standards. If a man tells you, "You work and I'll stay home," you won't accept it. If he offers a 50-50 split, you're not on board either. Because the issue isn't mental load. The issue is you want all the benefits without any of the responsibilities. And let's talk facts. The idea that women would all be successful and free without men is false. The majority, without support, end up below the poverty line. And on top of that, the system is already rigged in their favor. Alimony, child custody, division of assets. In most cases, divorce benefits women more than men. So really, what are you complaining about?
Women.
Ladies, if a man gives you a ring and proposes marriage to you, it's because he's done playing the field, he's done trying to get all the ladies, he's maybe balding a little bit, he can't get the ladies anymore, so now he has to settle down. And settling down means finding somebody who's available that likes him enough to put up with his shit, and then he makes you feel special with a ring. He just needs access to a woman's body for the rest of his life. He can't go out and play the field and get the women he used to. So now he'll get married, because marriage is making sure you have it, because it's getting a little scary out there when I can't pick up these ladies. So I better settle down and get married. Marriage for a man is just maintaining access to a lady's body. It's making sure they always have access to that, because they need it. Because they will go crazy without access to a lady's body. They're extremely borny all the way up until the day they die. Just borny, borny, borny. So marriage is to make sure that you stay and sleep in his bed, and he always has access to a lady's body. He's done trying to find like what kind of hot lady I can get. That was cool. Now what other kind of hot lady I can get? He can't get the hot women anymore, so he's settling down and getting married to you. It's not an honor. It's not an accomplishment. You're literally just a free Bex worker when you get married.
Brothers, misery loves company. Just listen to how she talks about married women. That bitterness comes from resentment. These are women who once dreamed of having a family, a husband, children. But time passed. The wall hit, and now they're stuck between frustration and loneliness. They feel lost in life. All they do is work, come home, and repeat the same routine. They live miserable lives because they don't earn enough for that luxury lifestyle full of travel and freedom they were sold. They don't move up the corporate ladder, and in the end, they don't have anyone waiting for them at home. No one to say, "Don't worry, love, I've got this." Believe me, going through life knowing that if you stop working tomorrow, there's no one to help you, that if you get sick, no one's going to visit you, that's a hard truth.
I know the TikTok sheikhs are gonna come for my neck, but I don't really believe in marriage. Not in modern day, at least, because I would say that the majority of the time it doesn't work out. And even when it doesn't end in divorce, it ends in absolutely hating and resenting each other towards the end of life. And the reality is that in most marriages, women get the short end of the stick. Like, women are the ones who have to sacrifice their careers, their health, their well-being to take care of their husband and the children. And in modern days, a lot of women are still working at the same time as doing all of that other stuff that has always been an obligation for women. I'm not like a psychopath, so there's still a part of me that like craves it. Like, I yearn for it, but logically, I just don't really care for it because I don't think that it's gonna benefit me, honestly. I feel like it's actually going to stunt my growth. It's going to stunt my career. It's just going to stunt me in so many ways, and I'm going to grow to hate that person. I didn't have to be in a marriage to have observed that in literally hundreds of marriages of the people around me. There's also a part of me that's just skeptical about the idea of being with one person for the rest of your life. And because so many people go into marriages with such high expectations, like they think it's going to significantly improve their lives, and then they're like quickly humbled within the first few years of marriage. I just feel like that actually sets people up for even more pain and heartbreak, because society and just like our families have raised us to glorify marriage or to see it as like our end all be all purpose in life. And when you are disappointed by that, you just, it leaves you lost and broken and confused. Yes, there's still a part of me that like yearns for it. I do feel lonely every once in a while, but I know that I'm better off alone. And I'm more so in the mindset of like, if it happens, it happens, but it'd have to be like the most ideal situations. Otherwise, I just don't think that it's worth the time and effort and pain. Not to mention, in marriage, a lot of women's needs and their how can I say this without pissing people off? Their desires are very rarely met. There's that aspect of it that actually leaves women feeling very frustrated. And then when they're not satisfied in their marriages, a lot of times the men will then go seek out other women because they can't satisfy their wife. Like, I just can't. Why would I put myself through that? I've seen far too many marriages that have failed, or if they haven't entirely fallen apart, they leave, at least the woman for sure, just feeling so broken and regretful of even getting into the marriage in the first place. Like, most of our moms and aunts and everybody, they're miserable in their marriages and they regret marrying the men that they married. So part of it is also just like the fact that they didn't choose well, but like, that's the reality for most women. Man, the sheikhs are gonna come for my neck.
Most of the women who regret marriage are usually the ones who never put in the effort to make it work. Because saying all women have a bad time in marriage is a lie. Plenty of men are good husbands, and there are also women who turn out to be terrible wives. And let's be honest, you're on the other extreme. You're still single, climbing the career ladder, but you're not happy. The trips, the house, the money, none of it means much when you're doing it all alone. When you know that if you lose your job or get sick, you've got nothing. Because there's no one waiting for you at home, no one to say, "Love, come home soon." Reducing marriage to just living together is absurd. What about the kids, the shared life, the memories? Both can still work, but you've bought into the feminist narrative. And of course, you've already hit the wall. And the wall doesn't forgive.
Why does no one explain or tell us how hard it is to be dating in this modern age in your 30s. I don't want to be going out dating. I don't want to do it. I don't want to put myself through it. I just find that people are so easy to leave, and people can't commit anymore. People don't want to commit anymore. It's too easy to find other things. And then just stupid things like you're going on Instagram or TikTok or anything like that. You're scrolling through and you're seeing all these memes of things that you want to have in your future, and it just makes you feel so envious. Like, I wish I could have that. And why can't I have that? Oh, dating in your 30s sucks. It really sucks. And I think it's just kind of like, it's trying to come to terms with the fact that everything that you thought you'd have by this age isn't always where it's meant to be. Sometimes you just need to wrap your head around it. But it does, yeah, it gets a bit much sometimes. Just a low day. I'll be fine again later.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
I recently watched a very interesting video. A woman was explaining why, in the United States, there are more and more single women over 30. And according to her, this didn't start in the 2000s like many people think. It began much earlier, when the Bible and traditional values were removed from schools. Back then, kids were taught that starting a family was a good thing, and that helped build a strong and stable middle class. But according to her theory, there were two key moments: the removal of the Bible from schools and the massive entrance of women into the workforce. Then came the studies. When women have more money, they tend to spend more and go into more debt. Brands know this, which is why advertising is heavily targeted at them, encouraging them to stay single because they consume more that way. The theory might sound controversial, but if you look at what's going on today, it lines up with what we're seeing.
What's your age?
42.
Are you single?
Yes, I am.
Do you think that men your age are going for older or younger women?
Younger.
Why?
Social media.
What about it?
OnlyFans, these young wild girls that are on there and just revealing themselves. I think it's just a different generation now. You have a lot of accessibility to a lot of different type of women, and unfortunately, that's a man's weakness, and they fall short.
And where do older women fall short?
I don't think women are as weak as men. I hate to say that.
In what sense?
In the sense of women are a man's downfall. I mean, it's been proven over and over. Yes, there's women out there that cheat, but it's more known for men to do that.
Well, it all goes back to women at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. Listen, if you love someone, you're loyal. Man or woman.
Why do you think you're single at 42?
The man I was with for 9 years cheated on me a week before our wedding.
I agree with something that woman said. The downfall of man is woman, and the proof is in what we see today. Young men are living in an era of female overexposure. Social media, apps, OnlyFans. There's no platform where everything isn't sexualized. The problem is that kind of saturation destroys your mind. More and more men are becoming addicted to porn, spending money on the Blue app, and becoming less and less capable of talking to a woman in real life. All their game is reduced to a screen. That's why I keep saying, men need to bring out the best version of themselves again. We used to grow up with action heroes, symbols of strength, leadership, and discipline. Today, what we're being sold are weak and ridiculed men. And when all you see is the humiliation of men, what motivation is left to improve?
Today, I'm really struggling with being single. I've just been crying. I'm not about to come on here and cry again though, because I keep on crying on TikTok and it's really embarrassing, but I'm just really struggling being single today. Like, I just don't want to be single. I just want to be in a relationship, and it's actually really fucked up. Like, when I actually deep it, that I feel like I need to be in a relationship in order to be happy. Like, that is actually how I feel at the moment. Like, I don't feel like I'm myself unless I'm in a relationship. Can anybody else relate to that? I'm just like, I just want a relationship. Like, I'm like, I don't care who it is, I just want a relationship. And that is so fucked up. Like, I feel like you should get into a relationship with somebody because like you love them and you're like, yeah, I want to be in a relationship, not because you just want to be in a relationship. So let me know if you struggle with this. I don't know what happened to me in my childhood or what has happened to me in my life in order to make me like this, but today I'm just struggling. It's like 2 days after Valentine's Day and I just feel weird. I'm like over it. I'm like, okay, move on to the next now. But I'm really trying to not do that. Like, I'm not on dating apps or anything, but I want to be on dating apps. Not trying to come on here and be negative. I'm just trying to keep it real. But yeah, love you guys and thank you so much for all your support. And I'll see you later.
Brothers, I'll say it one more time. The wall doesn't forgive. Woman, if you're tired of crying about being single, start with the basics. Lower your standards. Learn to appreciate the average man. The one who works, who wants a stable life, who can walk beside you as a true partner. Say yes to a coffee date. Stop dreaming that you're at 10, waiting for a man in the top 20%. Reality is different. If you're looking for stability, look for a man you can grow and build with together. Otherwise, you'll keep feeling frustrated, watching the years go by, and feeling the wall getting closer and closer. Because at the end of the day, the wall doesn't forgive.
Having a little moment, I'm feeling a little sad. I don't know if it's because like my birthday's in 10 days or what, but I think I just think like about me when I was little, and I'm like, I did not think that I was gonna be alone at this age, and like I am fine, but some days I'm just like hyper aware that not that no one cares about me, but I'm like no one's number one priority, and sometimes I just want to feel cared for. Hence, I don't know, I guess me making myself moves tonight, because I'm like, it does feel nice when I take care of myself, but sometimes I just want to break. Like sometimes I just want someone to hold me, or I don't know. Sometimes I worry like the more like stuff about myself that I like unpack, like the more that I'm just like too much for like anyone to ever like handle or like want to get involved with. And I know that's like a shitty part of me speaking right now. And in a few hours, like I probably won't feel that way, or I'll forget about it, but I have the moments. And I know I'm not like the only one that feels this way. And the thing is, I'm never gonna get in a relationship just for the sake of getting in a relationship, because the like aspect that I'm like craving is like the like intimacy and safety, and I like don't feel safe or intimate like with most people. I don't even like being touched by most people. So yeah, except for you, Baloo. So it makes it tricky, because it's not even like an easy solution, or that like what I want is like easily accessible, but then I have to sit with like maybe it's not there. I just want a little break. I just want someone to hold the weight for just a second, and then I'll take it back. And then I'll be fine. But if I post this, I am fine. I'm just having a moment like we all do, and I'm not too cool to admit it.
Stop it. Get some help.
Most of these women would be happy with a man who simply shows them affection. But feminists sold them the idea that they should chase the rich guy, or the infamous 666 of the apocalypse. A man who's 6 feet tall, makes 6 figures, and has a six-pack. The 666 from hell as the key to happiness. Back then, priorities were different. Women looked for a partner with values, someone to build a life with. Today, material things matter more than emotional connection. And here's the ironic part. Many of them feel lonely, but they won't make the first move. If they did, at least 1 in 3 men would say yes to a date. But instead, they keep waiting for the fantasy Chad, and in the meantime, time keeps passing. Now watch the woman in the next video and hear the reasons why she's looking for a husband.
I just wanted to say that I would like to get married now, because I'd like to split the bills with someone. Like, the bills are coming up and they're due, and I'm paying them all by myself. And I just feel like once I get married, then I'll have somebody else who will pay 50% of the bills. And so that's my main reason. Like, that's my main reason. So if you too want to get married because you're tired of paying all the bills by yourself, then let me know, because I'm getting sick of it. Like, when rent is due, I just want to pay half of it. When the light bill is due, I just want to pay half of it. Okay? That's it. And so I feel like I can't keep doing this whole paying bills by myself thing much longer.
Oh, hell no!
Brother, listen to her carefully. What she's looking for isn't love, it's an ATM. And don't get me wrong, I don't blame her. Times are tough, bills keep piling up, and a lot of women are now looking for a man to ease their financial burden. They want someone to cover 50%, or if possible, much more. But here's the important detail. There's a big difference between sharing expenses and sharing a life. Because if you want a man to be a provider, that also means acts of service, taking care of the relationship, bringing peace and stability. And that's where most fall short. They want the man to take on the traditional role, but they're not willing to take on theirs. That's the real question. Are you looking for a partner or a sponsor?
Women.
I'm going to be turning 39 a week from tomorrow, and I am still single. And that makes me sad. Even my own cats are running from me. If you had told 25-year-old Rihanna that on her 39th birthday, she would still be unmarried with no children, I would have laughed in your face or been so angry in disbelief, because that is not what I envisioned for my life. In my early 20s, I was never that girl that wanted to get married right away and have a young family. I wanted to be able to experience life. But probably around 25, 26 is when I was like, I do want to be married. And it has just never happened for me for whatever reason. And I have spent years wondering what is wrong with me. Is there something about me? Am I just not supposed to ever be with someone? And the reality is I don't know if I will ever find my person. And I hope that I do. And I want to have children. But at what point do you let that dream go? And I know that, like, there's still time. 39, you can still have children. There's still time to accomplish all of those things. But it does make me sad to be going into another year of my life without anyone. Sometimes I think being a single woman, it feels like you can't win, because no matter what you say, people are always going to be challenging whatever you're feeling. If I say that I'm sad about not being married, people will say you just need to be living your best life. And there's a lot of married people who are unhappy and would do anything to be in your position. If I say that I'm happy and content with my life, there's the other group of people that say your life is meaningless and you will never know fulfillment. And this is what feminism does. And it's really hard for two things to be true at the same time, where I do have things in my life that I enjoy, while I also would love to be in partnership with somebody. So I guess I'm just sharing this because I know I'm not the only single, almost 39-year-old person to have ever existed. I'm not the first, and I won't be the last. There's a lot of people that are in my position, but sometimes it can be really hard to exist in this space where you can be really grateful and content in a lot of areas, but also have a longing for something that you don't yet have. And it takes a lot of character to walk through that.
Here she is, 39 years old and hitting the wall. I'm not saying it's impossible to start a family at that age, but it's definitely much harder. At 20, she wanted to live life, travel, parties, freedom, the classic feminist narrative of enjoy your sexuality to the fullest. But by 30, reality hit. She was sold a lie. She realized that women with husbands and children aren't oppressed. Many of them are actually happy. That sharing responsibilities with a man isn't the nightmare she was led to believe. But of course, the culture, the media, and advertising have been pushing women for years to hate men and choose loneliness as a lifestyle. The result? At 39, she finds out that cats and an empty house don't fill the void. That idea of single women are happier, not even they believe it anymore. Because time goes on, and like I always say, the wall doesn't forgive.
I know you guys know the feeling, but, you know, when you're 30 years old and you're single and you're, like, trying to put yourself out there and your friends are all married and they're like, oh, let's go to the D-backs game, and you're, like, sick, and then you think, like, it's going to be a night out, and then they're, like, 7th inning in, and they're like, yeah, let's go get some ice cream after this, and I'm like, oh, fuck. We have really different vibes of, like, what the night is going to look like. So then you're, like, scouring for friends that are potentially out in the same area that you are so that you're at least trying to meet new people, because God knows that when you're with your married friends, you don't really meet a lot of new people. And I love them. Like, I don't blame them. Like, I want to go home and eat fucking ice cream too. But I texted a friend and I was like, you're out, right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, can I meet you? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, I'll be waiting. Like, I'm a pathetic fucking loser, but here I am, putting my best foot forward, trying to just, like, do things as a single woman and not, like, go home and, like, cry myself to sleep. So we all know the feeling, right? Basically, I'll let you know how the night goes and if it was worth it. I don't know if it's going to be worth it, but we're trying. We're trying.
When a woman crosses 30, reality hits hard. The pool of potential partners gets smaller, and so does the group of friends. Not because they stop caring about each other, but because those friends now have husbands, kids, commitments, and the dynamic changes. That creates pressure. You see everyone starting families, talking about kids, homes, responsibilities, while you're still living the single life. And of course, you start feeling out of place. You don't quite fit in with the couple's world, but you're also out of sync with the party scene. What many of these women should do is simple. Ask their friends to set them up with one of their husband's single friends. Because if they keep waiting for the one to magically appear, the future won't be a family or a relationship. It'll be cats and silence in an empty house.
Women.
Excuse me, are you single?
Yes.
Do you believe in destiny when it comes to love?
Yeah.
And how long have you been single for?
I've never had a boyfriend, so yeah, but like my whole life, I guess. So.
Have you dated?
Yeah, I've been on some dates, but like never like got anywhere further with it.
Yeah, you haven't caught the butterflies?
Nah.
Yeah, fair enough. And what are the key things you look for in a partner?
I think being like, just having that inner joy, like like they've got that still childlike sense of like wonder, you know what I mean? That type of thing, yeah.
Yeah. So innocence. Yeah,
innocence, yeah.
And has that changed? What you first thought you wanted in a partner now that you've been on a few dates?
Yeah, do you know, I would say so, because I think I wanted someone a bit more like kind of, rough and like, rustic more. And so then I was like, they didn't feel like they kind of listened to me or, like understood me in any way, you know what I mean? So yeah, I would say so, yeah. Has changed, definitely.
Nice. And can you tell us about one of those dates you've been on? Like, what did you do?
Oh, we went out to the movies, and then, I don't know, he just like was straight to like grab my thigh, and I was like, oh, all right.
Awkward.
I was like, I mean, that's a definitely a step. So yeah.
Yeah. Are you open to love?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
So are you currently dating or on apps or anything? No,
I don't like dating apps. They feel weirdly kind of superficial, and yeah.
Lastly, what is your name?
Oh, Talia.
Judging by her accent, I doubt Talia is American. She sounds more European, probably from the north. She doesn't confirm it, but you can tell by the way she speaks. What's interesting is what she reveals. Talia says she's attracted to masculine men, someone rugged, in short, manly. She also gives the impression of being a young woman, with a certain innocence and fairly traditional ideas about relationships. What do you think? Did you notice the same thing in the way she expresses herself?
I'm 26 and I've never had a boyfriend. I want to talk about the side of being a late bloomer where you compare yourself because you feel like you're behind. It's really hard when everyone around you is in relationships or dating, or they've all experienced things by now and you're a bit older and you haven't. You don't really see people saying that it's okay that you haven't. You do feel like you're behind. But I'm learning that I'm not, and that it's okay not to rush, and I'm fighting to get late bloomers seen a bit more. And I'm hoping more people will talk about it. And no, there's nothing wrong with you. You're exactly where you're meant to be. And if you're not ready for all that kind of stuff, that's absolutely fine. I just want you to know you're not alone. This is such a common thing. Don't let the world make you feel like you're less because you haven't experienced these things. You are amazing. You are good enough.
Woman, you're almost 30 and you're still waiting. Waiting for what exactly? For a Prince Charming from the top 1%? For life to pause until the perfect man shows up? That's not how it works. The problem isn't that there aren't enough men. There are plenty of single men out there. The problem is that most women have their eyes set on that small percentage of top 10% men, the same ones everyone else wants too. And of course, those men know they have options, so they don't commit. Meanwhile, you keep rejecting average men, the ones who are actually willing to build something, and time keeps ticking.
Okay, I'm 25, chronically single. I've never had a boyfriend in my whole life. Let's talk about it. So I've said this in a few of my TikToks, and a lot of people always have something to say about it. People like will argue about it. They'll be like, she's single because her standard is too high, or no, she's single by choice, or she's the red flag. Like there must be something wrong with her. That's why she's single and never had a boyfriend. I will say dating's like the one thing that I've never really talked about on the internet, about my dating life or dating stories that I've had in the past. And it's gonna stay that way. But I will say the reason I've opened up about never having a boyfriend on here is because I think it helps a lot of people. Like you could just look in the comment sections of everyone being like, oh my gosh, I relate to this. This makes me feel seen and feel better about my circumstances. But to answer the question of why I've never had a boyfriend, I feel like this is gonna be a really sucky answer that you're not looking for, but I really think it just hasn't been meant to be for me. I will say I have gone on dates before. Obviously, I've gone on dates before and I've had talking stages, but they just ended because it wasn't meant to be. Right now, I'm focusing on me and I'm not going on dates and I'm not answering DMs and I'm literally focusing on me 100%. And if I happen to find the perfect person, I'm not going to push them away. Like, obviously, I would give them a chance, but I'm not actively looking for it right now. Like, could I take a back road right now? Of course. I could go on my DMs and I could just go on a million dates and download a dating app and like force a relationship because I don't want to be single. I could do that. Or I can just focus on myself, get myself right, and reach my goals that I have for myself, and then the relationship will come after that. I don't think there's any wrong way to do it. I think everybody is on their own journey and own path, and everyone knows what's best for them. And yeah, that's just the way I'm doing it.
When a woman says, I'm focusing on myself, it's almost always because the men she wants don't want her. And with the ones she's not attracted to, she still accepts the date, but just for a free meal. It's not self-growth, it's a strategy to buy time. The problem is that many believe they're at 10 and only go after guys in the top 10%, but because their standards are so high, almost no man measures up. Meanwhile, the years go by, and even though they think they can wait forever, the reality is different. The wall doesn't forgive.
Interlinked.
Do you long for having your heart interlinked? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Do you dream about being interlinked?
Interlinked.
What's it like to hold your child in your arms? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Do you feel that there's a part of you that's missing? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Within self.
If you're in your 20s and never had a boyfriend, listen up. If TikTok taught us one thing, it's that boy air is a real thing. I am about to turn 27 years old and have never had a boyfriend, and I can say with full confidence that I have become hotter because of it. So don't stress. Every year you don't have a boyfriend is every year you're going to get so hot, it will be sickening.
Like, why would I want to go to work and then come home to a man that wants to freak me, and then I might even have to cook and clean, or we even may make some kids, so now I have to go to work, come home to the man and some kids, and then I have to cook and clean, and then I have to freak the man to please him, when all I could do was just go to work and go home to myself and pay my own bills and live in peace.
The problem with women who fall for the radical feminist narrative is that they're sold the idea that being in a relationship is oppression. They think a man won't show them affection, won't take care of them, will never help them. But the reality is different. There are plenty of men who cook, clean, take care of the home, and still get labeled as oppressors. The truth is, today, there are single men living better than many women. Tidy homes, stability, peace. But these women remain trapped in the belief that being with a man means being a slave, while their lives in solitude are empty, routine, and without purpose. That's why, while they run from building a life as a couple, many end up facing the same outcome. The wall doesn't forgive.
I'm 24 years old, and I've never had a boyfriend. Never been in a relationship. And at this point, it's starting to become a problem. Like, at this point, I'm at the point where it's like, why? Not what's wrong with me, because there's nothing wrong with me. And even if it was, it doesn't matter. Because I done seen what you can deem the ugliest person with a significant other. Whatever you deem the worst looking in this world that could possibly happen has had a significant other. It's not looks. It's not personality, because it's niggas like Donald Trump that is married. It don't matter what you look like, how you act. There is a million people on this earth that's been in a relationship. At this point, I'm a 24-year-old woman, and I have nothing more to give. At this point, I just don't know. Like, I need someone to tell me something. Someone need to tell me something. Like, is there a sign that it's becoming unhinged at this point? Like, because at this point now, it's like, when I do get my first relationship, which hopefully 2025, when I do get in said relationship, is that even going to be the one that's going to be my marriage? And I'm almost going to be 25 years old. That's not even going to be my one. I already know. Like, I'm a realist. Come on. You think my first relationship is going to be the only one? Now I'm going to be a 24-year-old going through her first official real breakup. Like, I've been with it's been stages, but like a real breakup, real relationship, real deal spiel. I'm going to be a 24-year-old girl going through what she should have went through when she was 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, I'm not going for that. I don't want that. But I have no choice. Hopefully it's a one and done, but let's be realistic. The first nigga I date, I won't be his first. And most likely he won't be my last. So I'm going to be 24, 25 maybe. If that.
In short, you've got a hard sell. Want some advice? Then change your approach. Stop expecting men to chase you and take the initiative yourself. Just saying hello and starting a conversation might be enough to get someone interested in you. One of my favorite sayings is, if you want things to happen, you have to put yourself in the position for the universe to give them to you. And that applies to everything in life.
Women.
So I'm 28 and I've never had a boyfriend or been in a relationship. I've seen some of these videos going around on TikTok and I really want to join in on the conversation because I got some things to say as well on this topic. I used to be so incredibly embarrassed about the fact that I never had a boyfriend, that I'd never been in a serious relationship, and I'll be 29 in 2 months and still nothing. I thought I would share with you guys like the best 5 or so lessons and things I've learned while trying to navigate having never been in a relationship and getting close to 30. Number one thing, and this is so much easier said than done, but you cannot measure your life and compare it to your friends' lives. What I mean by that is, like, I live in the South. I am the only single friend in my close friend group. And I have had to learn time and time again that it is going to get me nowhere if I continue to compare my life to their lives. Now, the second one sounds a little cliche, but I think it's incredibly important, is to not enter into a relationship unless you actually want to be in that relationship, not just in a relationship. Make sure you're dating somebody that you actually want to date and you see a future with, and not because you feel like you have to check something off and tell people that you've had a relationship before. I have chased guys that treated me like absolute garbage because I just wanted to check off a box that said I had been in a relationship or something similar to a relationship. I have to say, while I love my married friends and I love my friends who are in relationships, do not listen to them when they tell you that it'll happen when you least expect it. They mean well, they mean that in the kindest way. It is incredibly not helpful and will just leave you mad. So just throw that logic out the window. It's not helpful and I don't even believe it's true. Sometimes it absolutely sucks to be single. There have been times that I have been so sad and truly depressed over the fact that I'm single that I have just felt like this is it. I'm going to die alone. This is it for me. And it can be so hard to get out of that headspace, but I just want to remind you that your singleness is actually such a gift if you look at it that way. It can be really hard to look at it that way, but if you look at it like something that you will actually never get back once you actually do get in a relationship, then you kind of begin to cherish it a little bit more. Another piece of advice I will say that I don't know if I've heard a lot of people say is surround yourself with single people. If you feel like all your friends are married, figure out a way to surround yourself with single people, whether that's Bumble BFF, whether that's joining a club, whether that's whatever. Go find fellow single people, and not just to date them, but just to be around other single people. I swear it'll help. The last thing I'll say is don't think you need to change something about yourself physically before you get into a relationship. Whoever you end up with, if that's your person, they are going to love you whatever stage of life that you are at, whatever body you have. Remember that.
Before social media and dating apps, a woman would meet only a few men, classmates, guys from college, work, or her own community. At most, 30 potential candidates before turning 30, and from there, she'd choose her husband. Today, with dating apps, she can talk to 300 or more. And while that sounds like more opportunities, the truth is, it actually worked against them. After seeing so many attractive, successful men from the top 20%, many women start to believe they deserve someone like that. But those men have hundreds of options, and they're not choosing them. And of course, feminism played its part. It discouraged many men from approaching women, and others simply walked away. The result? Women stuck in false expectations, alone at 30, some without ever having had a partner, yet still convinced that everything's fine. When in reality, time doesn't forgive, and neither does the wall. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think is the reason why so many women have never had a boyfriend? What's your opinion on women reaching their 30s without a partner? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from The Wall.